So yes, hello and welcome back to Owen's Model Railways. So today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Hornby Class 66. I've never had a 66 before by any company, so this is going to be completely new to me. I haven't even taken the sleeve off of the model yet. This is all I've seen. So you will be getting my first reaction to looking at it. But just before we do that, take a look around the box. So you can see it's EWS Class 66, James Nightfall GC, and the number is 66079. Turning the box around this way, got pretty much the same information, other than it's got the R code, which is R3487, and this model is DCC ready. I will be fitting lights and a DCC chip to this model in a few months' time, so if you're interested for that, please do hit subscribe and I'll be getting that out as soon as possible. Coming around to the back, we've got some history on the class, which I will read out to you in a bit, and then we've also got some other information, so the drawings and some other information. So you can actually see this was drawn in 1999, so it's quite an old model, but for the RRP of the model, which is I believe $74.99, you really can't grumble with it. And I got this for an even better price. I got it for $60 including postage and fees, brand new in box, so must have paid about $55 in total, so I'm really happy with that. But as you can see, there's nothing else on the box apart from obviously the drawings. So let's stop delaying it and let's get into the box. So this is my first view of it, and yes, that's a very nice model. Already I can see it is very nice. Obviously I don't have anything to compare it to, but that is a very nice model. I can see, yeah, it really is a nice, just from here. I can see the underframe is a little bit more sparse than some of my more expensive models, but you know, I'm happy with this. It's not a deal breaker. But let's take it out of this packaging. And of course we've got some gump behind it, so we'll take a look at that a second. So we've got all of this standard gump there. Then that's just showing how to take the body off, how to fit the accessories, and a DCC chip where to oil. So nothing out of the ordinary there. Pop that to the side. In fact, I'll just pop the box to the side a second. So we'll slide this out of here. And have a look at the accessories a second. So you can see, get some brake pipes and some alternative dams, I believe they're called. I'm not all that clued up when it comes to freight locos, so you'll have to excuse me. But we'll have a look at maybe fitting some of that in the future. Right, let's get the model out. So you can get a slightly better view, and you can see, yes, it really is a nice model. Also, yeah, just picking that up, it has got fairly nice amount of weight. It's not the heaviest loco I've ever owned, but it's not the lightest. It's quite a nice weight. But turn it around to the front, you can see the non-functional lighting. But like I said, I will be coming back in a few months and fitting a lighting kit to this. So if you're interested in that, do make sure you stick around. But let's take a look around the model. So you can see it's quite, the sides are fairly basic, but we have got really nice crisp livery application. You can see all the letters there. There's no bleed on them. Number is really nicely applied, and the zigzag, I'm going to call it the zigzag, is really nicely crisp there. You can see the grills, although they're not etched, they are very nicely detailed. If we come around to the roof, there's no riveting detail, but it is still very nice. You've got another grill, although not etched, it's very, very nice. And then coming around, you've got the exhaust, I believe this is. It's fairly basic, but still nice nonetheless. Come around to the other end. I believe this is the other end. You can see, I believe this is not the motor bogie. This isn't. The other one is. But of course, as you'd expect, no sprung buffers. And it has got the medium-sized tension lock coupling. I will be changing this to most likely either a slim line, or I think I'll change one to a slim line and have the other one without a coupling. But as you can see, it's actually quite nicely detailed. There aren't any wipers, but it is really nicely detailed. For the price, it's really nicely detailed. You've got the warning stickers, and you've got the handrail, and actually the cab. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you all that well. I might have to get another picture. Oh, there we go. You can see in the cab there is really, actually quite nicely detailed. It is really quite impressed with that. So the separately fitted detail on this all over the model there isn't a lot of it, let's say, but like I say, for an RRP of £75, I really don't think you can grumble. But let's just turn to here for a second. You can see this is a non-powered bogie. This is the powered bogie, but actually I can see, I'm not sure if you can see so well, every single one of these wheels has got pickups, and so has the motor bogie. So actually, when I do fit the lights, this should hopefully have a really nice, continuous power supply. But I think it's time to get it down to the track. So everything on the layout's turned on, and this is straight out of the box. So this hasn't been run in, this is straight out of the box. Let's see how it does. So you can see that it's a little bit rough to get started, but it does need running in. Seems to have stopped up here, so we'll just give it a nudge. There we go. Actually, it's okay. Yeah, out of the box, it's fairly okay. Out of the box, it's running quite nicely. So I'm happy with that. It's running fairly well for straight out the box. We'll just change the points a second. Give it a run into platform 1. Turn the camera slightly. So yes, it does need running in. I think the track might be a little bit dirty as well, so but I have no doubts at all that after being run in, it will behave a bit more nicely. The Class 66 owes its existence to EWS, as following the privatisation of British Railways freight operations in 1996, the company bought up a number of the newly privatised companies, giving them a 93% share of the UK rail freight and fleet of over 1,600 ageing locomotives. These needed to be replaced with reliable diesel locomotives, and EWS were aware that Electromotive Diesel, part of the General Motors Group in Chicago, had already supplied 15 Class 59 locomotives to 3 operators in the United Kingdom. The result was the Class 61 locomotive, later reclassified as the Class 66 under Tops. A development of the Class 59 and an order for 250 new locomotives was placed. This involved an outlay of some £375 million, the biggest investment in one order for locomotives. The first locomotive shipped to the UK arrived at Ingham in June 1998 and was followed at the rate of 11 per month via Newport Docks until the order was completed in December 2001. All the EWS engineers had to do was to remove the locomotive's tarpaulins, unblock the suspension and hook up the batteries to make the engine serviceable, especially as they were shipped with fuel and water loaded. Freightliner, like EWS, inherited an ageing fleet of locomotives and was impressed by the Class 66's abilities, and they ordered a small batch of Class 66/4 engines to begin to replace its Class 47 fleet, followed in turn by GB Rail Freight and Direct Rail Services. Freightliner continued to order from EMD, taking delivery of the Class 66/5 variant before taking on the new Class 66/6 subclass, built with a lower gear ratio to haul heavier trains, albeit at a slower speed. During 2004, the company took delivery of the first 2 major upgrades to the class. The Class 66/9, the first Tier 2 emission locomotive to be tested in the United Kingdom, identifiable from one side at least by the addition of a 5th door that provides access to the engine compartment. The fitting of Tier 2 equipment prevented access from within the locomotive for the crew, leading to the modification. The Class 66 locomotives are of the Coco type, with a cab at each end rated for 75 mph operation. Each has a GM 12N 710 G3B EC 2-stroke engine, rated at 3200 horsepower and 900 RPM. This is coupled to a GM AR8/CA6 main alternator, which powers 6 GM D43 TR traction motors, one on each axle, developing a maximum tractive effort of 90,000 foot-pounds and a continuous tractive effort of 57,000 foot-pounds, with a maximum speed of 75 miles per hour. This makes the Class 66 a less powerful locomotive than a Class 60. It is a stronger performer than the Class 47, 56, 57 and 58 locomotives. Fuel capacity is 6,550 litres of diesel fuel, giving a range of about 1,200 miles between fuelling. A ready-to-run Class 66 weighs 126 tonnes, giving a route availability of 7. On the 2nd of June 2004, 66079 was named in honour of James Willingham Nighthall, an LNER fireman who was awarded the George Cross posthumously for his part in saving Owen from being destroyed by burning ammunition on a train on the 2nd of June 1944.